for Christmas shopping, 24 days to fill the stocking, 24 days for Christmas shopping, only got 24 more.
Hi there, Christmas is coming. Have you done your shopping? Only 24 days left.
ShopGear.com.
The following is a presentation of the GERE Radio Network.
You're listening to Better Live Than Dead.
I believe it's a big challenge for our building to keep things in perspective and to, if we're going to get addicted to anything, let's get addicted to the process.
And with that, we welcome you to Trust the Podcast, powered by Better Live Than Dead and the GERE Radio Network. This is episode number 35, week 13. The Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. I am Ryan Wolfe at Wolfe BLT, joined on the IndyCar Media Hotline by John Cimino at the JC Money on Twitter. John, how you doing today?
I am well. My computer seems to be moving a little bit slowly right now. It's telling me that high volume can cause hearing loss. I don't really give a crap. But I am okay, as best as can be. A little frustrated with what I saw, not only in the Bills game, but of course my Jets. Jets blew a 16-0 lead. But anyways,
kind of like the Warriors.
I am well.
Like the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, something like that. Or the Falcons blew a 25-3 lead or 24-3 lead. Whatever. I don't care. Yeah. I'm all right physically and mentally, but emotionally, I'm drained. I'm ready,
dude. I tell you what. I'll tell you what. We'll talk about it. Obviously, with this being a Buffalo Bills podcast, we're going to talk about how the Buffalo Bills mentally drain me. But hey, while your computer's loading and while your hearing loss is taking place,
yes,
I'll let everyone know out there in the podcast land, you can hear us, Trust the Podcast, on BetterLiveThanDead.com, iTunes, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube. Wherever you get your podcasts, you'll get this podcast and many, many more GERE Network and Better Live Than Dead podcasts. Just make sure you subscribe and leave some comments. Let us know how you think about the podcast. And maybe if you like us, you can tell us that. Or if you hate us, you can also tell us that too. Now,
and shout out to my YouTube people. I another week and another comment and another inquiry. And you know what? It was a plug for 26 shirts. They weren't quite sure on the, I don't know why you could have hit the backspace button and listen to Ryan say 26 shirts, but you didn't. You commented on there, and I made sure to put the link on there and to kindly direct them to 26 Shirts Buffalo. There's multiple cities on 26 Shirts website, 26shirts.com. But the specific one to the shirt that hit me in the feels the most last week was 26 Shirts Buffalo. But shout out to the YouTube people that hit us up. We appreciate it. I am looking, and I can say this because I'm the owner of the network and I run like everything, especially behind the scenes here. Wherever you comment, I get notification, and trust me when I tell you, anything you comment, whether it's for Ryan, whether it's for Brayton, whether it's for hell, if you want to comment something for Dell on the podcast he was in, Perez, anybody on GERE Network or BLTD, I'll get the comment. I will make sure they get it, and you will get a response.
Someone do me a favor and comment, "Shut up, John," on one of the podcasts.
Shut up, Ryan.
Okay, with that being said, with the Buffalo Bills, hey, gimmick stealing. By the way, I'll play it back. Everyone, I had a rough go starting the podcast out. I restarted, and John just spouted it off like I always do. He's done it enough, though. He knows it's okay. I appreciate him. But the Buffalo Bills fall just short in Miami, 21-17. The last offensive play was just a I don't even know, a broken, gross, ugly everything. The pass from Josh Allen was a duck. I mean, it was a bad pass. It was kind of wobbly, flopping around, whatever. Charles Clay, whom the pass was thrown to, didn't have someone within 25 feet around him, and he dropped the potential go-ahead touchdown pass. Not the most athletic player on the field, but definitely I feel like that play was a microcosm of the entire time Charles Clay has been in Buffalo. Just
is
not
he or
quite
is
there.
he not? Is he or is he not the biggest free agent bust in Buffalo Bills history? If he's not, he's got to be up there. He's got to be top 3.
I think. Let me see here. I know the guy's name. I can't remember. I think it's damn it, I'll have to look it up and see here and let you know in just a second. There is a bigger, I wouldn't say Charles Clay is a super bust. I'm just saying that, not really what you expected.
Oh no, not at all.
When you picked him up, but looking over, going through a Democrat and Chronicle article, I think Derek Dockery is the guy I'm looking for. I think that's the name. They signed a massive deal, and he played like a handful of games.
Ugh,
but I'm trying to.
That's terrible. But Charles Clay at the very least in this era in the 2010s. I mean, he's just. I get what they saw with him because he was on Miami and Miami had somewhat better teams, but getting him was supposed to be this big coup and this big thing, big help for Tyrod Taylor and now Josh Allen, and he's just, he's just a monumental disappointment. And how about, speaking of Josh Allen though, how about Josh Allen?
Hey, look at the first of the three big things. The development for Josh Allen continues. His completion percentage not good, 18 for 33, but he had 231 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. The one thing I noticed today about Josh Allen is his laser rocket arm was on display. He was slinging the ball. I'm not sure if his elbow was feeling juiced up today, but he was getting the ball there and getting it there on time and with some conviction. I mean,
flick of the wrist. This guy's got flick of the wrist kind of power.
We see what he can do with. I mean, there's a couple things. The decision making, the timing still needs work. He had a great pass where he overthrew a wide open wide receiver that would have been a surefire touchdown. Stuff like that with time, with effort, will hopefully come. Mm-hmm. But the other thing about Josh Allen that's really blowing the minds of I think everybody around the football world, 9 rushes for 135 yards. Now, John, follow me on this one. 2 big stats for you. A couple big stats, 3, I think, actually. We'll get through them. 9 rushes for 135 yards. The most since by a quarterback since Colin Kaepernick, whoever that is, had 151 yards against the Los Angeles Chargers in 2014. Michael Vick and RG3 are the only other quarterbacks, along with Kaepernick and Allen, with at least 135 rushing yards in a game since 1999. That one's per Pro Football Reference. Josh Allen also broke his own record he set last week, most rushing yards by a Buffalo Bills quarterback. Also, per the Elias Sports Bureau, Josh Allen is the first quarterback since Green Bay's Tobin Rote, never heard of him before today, in November 1951 to run for at least 234 yards in a 2-game span. Also, Allen is the first since Rote to run for at least 99 yards in consecutive games. Josh Allen's doing it with the feet. He's doing it with the arm. Like I said, you love to see the arm on display. You want to see the decision making to be better and the timing to be better. I'm getting sold, honestly, John, on his arm. I'm really getting hooked by him.
Well, I'm telling it's funny because I can vaguely recall. I can vividly recall. I've been drinking today. I can vividly recall when Josh Allen was drafted, how upset you were, and I kept saying to you, you guys got a good one. He's going to be good if he can get his accuracy down, because he's got a hell of an arm. He's going to be good. And the way he has been playing the past couple of weeks, the earlier comparisons to him and Ben Roethlisberger are one thing, but he's really, to me, played a lot like Cam Newton in Cam Newton's MVP year. Now, with the minor exception of the accuracy, of course, but the flick of the wrist, power, with just being able to throw the ball 60 yards with no issue whatsoever. And then when he's running and he's making a difference. He's juking, he's driving, and he's getting down for the slide, so he's not taking hits. I personally would like to see him shy away from the run, and hopefully if the offensive line improves over the offseason and things like that, and as years go on, he becomes a better pocket passer, saves those legs. But this is a hell of a spark for him, and certainly I would argue that he could be in contention for Rookie of the Year, especially if the Bills, I know that they lost today, but they were in it. There were times where, there were some plays, the aforementioned Charles Clay pass aside, there were some plays that, shouldn't have happened. And that was kind of on the defense with the penalty by what's his face at the very end. I think he's developing pretty well. He's doing pretty good. And I think Bills fans really need to stay excited about Josh Allen.
I think the one thing is he's putting the stuff on tape. And then you want to have him see it and then go, okay, I need to get better at X, Y, Z. And then actually see him make those, make that jump a little more. So I'm holding off my judgment. I like what I saw today. It's another step in the right direction, but again, we got to see a little more from him, and I'm sure that will come with time. Now, Moving over to our second of three big things, stats of the game. Per Mike Heim at Mike HAIM on Twitter, the Buffalo Bills allowed 175 total yards, which are the fewest Buffalo has allowed in a loss since allowing only 160, against Baltimore, on October 24th, 2004. The plus 240-yard margin is the second largest in a Buffalo Bills loss ever. The biggest margin was plus 260 versus Kansas City on November 3rd, 2013. Buffalo Bills had 13 penalties today. Again, another ugly trend that we're seeing that hasn't gone away. And then also, John, the last stat of the game, 1 being the number of referees that Jerry Hughes wanted to fight post-game after allegedly being called a bitch on the field.
That's a tremendous stat. I missed that one.
Yeah, apparently there is a video on Twitter. I retweeted it over at Wolfe BLTD here of Jerry Hughes screaming, "If I find you on the streets, I'm going to knock you out," or something along those lines. And then said, "You called me a bitch." And then after the game, when he was asked about it, he said, "I don't remember that. I blacked out."
Did he? It wasn't Sean Hocules, was it?
I don't know. He had to be held back by other players who did not play.
Because I'll tell you what, Hocules has some good genes in him as well. I mean, you've seen referee Ed Hocules, the only 70-year-old ref with arms bigger than Hulk Hogan. I mean, that guy looks tough. I mean, still, I wouldn't mess with Jerry Hughes, but I mean, hey, it might be a good fight with Sean if it were Sean Hocules.
Yeah, absolutely. Some power. I mean, I don't understand what the reasoning was behind it, but hey, it is what it is.
Exactly.
I'm not too fond of the penalties, but then again, just on the surface with that, they're young. They're a lot of young players are playing. This is like 35 or 40% of the snaps being taken are by young players, something like that on the broadcast. Didn't totally catch it, but they're playing young players. It's bound to happen. Just tie them up and make sure they don't happen again, because if you're trying to be a playoff team, 13 penalties a game is not going to cut it.
Well, no, it's not. But the biggest one was with Phillips, and I can't remember his first name. It escapes me right now.
Jordan Phillips.
Jordan Phillips, that's it. Jordan Phillips stopped. I don't remember which running back it was, but he stopped somebody behind the line of scrimmage and then gets up and taunts him. And that would have been a flat out. Oh, I just got a message from somebody.
It's from me. I'm texting you during the podcast.
It's okay. He makes a play, which would have been 4th down, and it would have been a punt. And instead, what ended up happening is he does a stupid taunt at the end of it. It gets a taunting penalty. And the Dolphins go on to score off of that penalty. Now that penalty itself probably wasn't the sole reason that the Dolphins ended up scoring and taking the lead that drive, but it certainly was 70% of the reason, because it would have been a 4th down. The Dolphins would have punted, and then they could have ticked away from the clock, especially the way Josh Allen was running. And so, stupid plays like that. I mean, those things can't happen, especially when you're in the hunt. And the Bills were in the hunt, and that was a very boneheaded play, and that came back to bite them on the ass. And now the Bills are no longer in the hunt. And I don't know if it's official mathematically, but you know what I'm getting at.
I mean, at this point, the Buffalo Bills can only finish 8-8. So, I mean, there is that. But, I agree with you. The Jordan Phillips thing, it was talked about all week on WGR about him keeping his emotions in check. And for the most part, he did until that drive where he had that big stop. I think it was Kenyon Drake he stopped. But then he slaps the guy's leg out of the air and then, celebrates. And they don't care if you celebrate, but you can't strike the player.
Right.
You can't use the player as your taunting object. And that was dumb. And then he just kept calling on the crowd to chant. I get it. The team cut you, and you want to prove a point to them that you're better off without them. And you are. He's better off without them. He's been really good for the Bills this year.
Yes, except his bonehead play helped his former team win. That's ultimately what it boils down to. I get the point you were trying to prove, but like I tweeted at the JC Money after that happened, Jesus Christ, act like you've done that before and that you expect to do it again.
Let's be honest here. While yes, that did that certainly did help the Dolphins take a lead. Stephen Hauschka missed a PAT in a field goal that he normally hits, and the game would have been 21-21.
This is true.
So again, true.
But Hauschka has otherwise been money for your team. So
he has been. Absolutely. I'm very surprised.
I would say he kind of gets a pass for his misses. But
I'm just saying that they're inexcusable. I am just pointing out they're playing devil's advocate here that there's certainly Jordan Phillips. It wasn't like, it wasn't like it wasn't like one of those things where, hey, it's fourth and 10, and if the Bills get the stop, the game's over. There was still time left. So I understand your point totally. I'm just, like I said, playing devil's advocate here. But jumping over to the third of the three big things this week before we move over to our look ahead, LaShawn McCoy's quest for 11K, 15 rushes for 52 yards. He remains 26th all time with 10,570 yards, 21 yards behind the tie for 25th. Who remains Thomas Jones, 10,591 yards. Now, we are recording this podcast. I failed to mention it too. Trying a new format, doing the podcast the night after the game or the night of the game. So it's Sunday night, December 2nd, about 8:15 p.m.
Yes.
So the Buffalo Bills draft position may change. It's something we're trying to just to break in the fourth wall. We think maybe we can get more of an in-depth podcast, a little more fun if we try it on Sunday instead of pushing it to Tuesday, Wednesday. It's a new thing. Let us know if you like it. But if the season were to end right this second,
you will like it. I am telling you, you will like it.
I think it's going to be good because we're going to get some hotter takes, some angrier football fans here. If the season were to end right this second, 8:17 p.m. on December 2nd, the Buffalo Bills, and let me just refresh the page, the Buffalo Bills heading into Sunday Night Football would be drafting 8th overall.
Woo!
Not horrible, not great. Actually, you wouldn't want to be drafting there normally all the time, but hey, it is what it is. Now,
but to be drafting it with the amount of payroll that's going to be coming their way,
we've talked about that ad nauseum. I think even with you, John, it's something that I think it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to
It's something that I am honest to God, I am looking forward to, not just for the podcast purposes, but also the Jets are also in that same exact boat, and it's going to be really interesting to see how that all plays out.
And speaking of the Jets, nice little transition there, John. Our look ahead brought to you by 26 Shirts. Now, this is the hard part about doing it on a Sunday night. Last week's 26 shirts are available. Tonight is the last night that 26 shirts are available. The Bison hockey shirt we've been pumping, basketball podcast. I did make sure to get one. That is no longer being available as of midnight on the 3rd. 11:59 p.m. on the 2nd is the last time you can buy it. So by the time you hear this podcast, it's probably already come and gone. So my best suggestion to you would be make sure you get over to 26shirts.com. Check out their Instagram, their Twitter, their Facebook. Find out the latest shirts, the latest beneficiaries. We'll talk about them next week because obviously they run for every 2 weeks. So we'll run into this issue every couple of weeks if we record podcasts.
Well, check this out. While I know we're on time constraints here, we can make this week's this week's look ahead not only sponsored by 26 Shirts, but shopgear.com, ladies and gentlemen. It is our short link to Amazon. That's all it is. You just use our link. You go straight to Amazon. It takes you right to your account, and any Amazon purchases that you do through using our link, we get a small commission on, and it goes a very, very, very long way to be able to do improv things like record Trust the Podcast on a Sunday night instead of a Tuesday. So
that's exactly right. Yeah. Cool. And it's December. It's that time of year. If you're, I don't mean to toot my own horn here, John, as I pretend to fake Ric Flair, clean off my suit and tighten everything up, if you're not like me and you haven't already bought all your Christmas presents, it's the time. The time is now. Go to Amazon, shop gear.
Shh. Did you hear that?
What's that?
All the people that are listening right now collectively after you said that said, shut up, Ryan.
God damn it. You got me good. Okay. Use the Amazon.
What are we looking ahead to now?
Help us out. We're looking ahead to the greatest of all matchups here. It is going to be the Buffalo Bills, week 14, the Buffalo Bills versus the New York Jets, the 4-8 Buffalo Bills against the 3-9 New York Jets. John, take it away. Tell me how you really feel about this match.
I'm going to tell you what, I haven't been as excited for a football game, a rivalry game like this, of this magnitude, since the forthcoming launch of the AAF and the San Diego and Sacramento teams. That's the greatest rivalry in sports, Bills Jets next. I'm telling you, it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be, God, I have no idea what it's going to be. And I don't think the Jets have any idea of what it's going to be because they blew a 16-0 lead today to the Tennessee Titans. They started Josh McCown. Sam Darnold's been down for now 4 weeks, if you include the bye, because of that mysterious foot injury that nobody seems to know anything about. They don't know who's going to start. And if it's McCown, I mean, against the Titans defense, which is not the Buffalo Bills defense, by the way. The Bills have a tremendous defense, but McCown against a not tremendous Titans defense was 17 of 30, 128 yards, 1 interception. If you had him on your fantasy team for some reason, he got you 3 points. I see this more as a just like a crapshoot kind of game, you know. Now getting the Jets, they are 3-9. They're not scratching the playoffs. Todd Bowles will be lucky if they don't fire him, if they don't make an example out of him like they did with McCarthy, like the Packers did with McCarthy right after the game, fire him. Bills are going to be. I think it'll be a closer game than everyone expects. I don't think it's going to be a big blowout like it was a few weeks ago. But in the same, I think the Bills are going to sweep the Jets this year. The Jets are just as terrible, if not even worse, with the penalties than the Bills are, and being able to control their emotions on the field. Todd Bowles is flat out not a good coach when it comes to clock management, and clearly when it comes to player discipline, because again, the penalties contributed to the Titans coming back as well and beating the Jets after being down again 16-0. They lost 26. They lost 26-22. So they're undisciplined. They're poorly coached. They have a lesser team than the Bills do right now. The Bills are, you know, maybe they're getting that Sabres vibe, and they're you know, whatever. They're just they play harder now than they did in the beginning of the season. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, the Jets are not doing that. They were playing hard in the beginning of the season, and now they've lost 6 in a row. So as far as this one goes, this should be nothing more at this point than additional reps for Josh Allen, and hopefully we can finally see Josh Allen against Sam Darnold. Hopefully he'll be able to start next week, and it won't be the Josh McCown 3-and-out show.
Hey, I mean, I don't think the game's going to be good either way. We may see a lot of weird stuff. I'm ready for it. I mean, at this point, I'm trying to find something out here really quick. The stat I have here, the one thing I failed to mention that I have on my internet, Josh Allen became the 4th player in National Football League history to throw 2 touchdown passes and rush for at least 125 yards in a single game, joining Tobin Rote, 11-22-51, Michael
That's
Vick,
your boy, man. Tobin Rote.
12-19, 2010, Michael Vick, and then Walter Payton, 9-18, 1983. The thing I was looking for were the stats here. Walter Payton, on that day, September 18th, 1983, was 2 for 2 for 77 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Good Lord.
And then he ran the ball 28 times for 161 yards and a touchdown. That right. One kind of surprised me there, but when it comes to the Bills and the Jets, I don't know, man. Jesus, take the wheel.
With this, Ryan, my boy, it's going to be another week of me sitting down on my rocking chair. Although I will have the girls. Actually, no. You know what? During the game is actually, if I'm not mistaken, it would be your niece's birthday party. So I will be there.
I'm going to be doing backflips.
With my girls. Man. Yes, doing backflips. Royally not giving a crap about how the Jets do.
Maybe we can find maybe they have a bar at the trampoline place. We'll find a bar, we'll turn the game on. We'll do live hit.
If not, I upgraded to unlimited data so we can throw it on my phone.
I also have Fubo on my phone. Cheap shout out to Fubo. I can turn on my phone. So one of us can get the game. The other one can do the live feed on YouTube or not YouTube, but Facebook. BLTD Facebook, and we can go from there. But
hey, that works.
I do hate to cut the podcast short. I love chatting, you know that. But if talking was my job, I would be the greatest. I'd be Barry Bonds of talking. Big old head, and the greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, for football, I would say your forehead resembles more of Peyton Manning, but
thank you.
We'll leave that alone.
Thank you. My wife is texting me and telling me that dinner is ready, and I am ready to go eat a bunch of food. So,
all right.
With that being said, we thank you for joining I guess this is like a prototype Trust the Podcast episode 35 on a Sunday night, not a Tuesday night. Sunday night podcast. I'm feeling it's like Sunday Night Heat, but Sunday night TTP. Trust the Podcast. I'm Ryan Wolfe at Wolfe BLTD. John is at the JC Money. John, anything else you want to say before we wrap this bad boy up?
We are Trust the Podcast. You are not.
Hell yeah. Let's go, Bills, and let's have a good game this week, and maybe we'll get John mad about the Jets again.
Hooray!
Bye.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the GERE Network.